The only thing I'll say about, which if you haven't been to my message boards or the other message boards, is we're doing a live action movie, right? So we're doing a film where it's definitely about the Decepticons and the Autobots and their battle for supremacy, but it's not only the Decepticons and the Autobots, because that would probably be, as it has been many times, a CG film or a straight animation film. I would picture like one of those big Roland Emmerich type, the Day After Tomorrow type things, in which there are 4 or 5 different stories, regular people going about their everyday lives, when all of a sudden they realize that they're in the midst of something bigger, and that car's not my car, and that truck's not a truck, and that helicopter sure as hell ain't a helicopter. So before anyone starts asking questions, or the key to what we're trying to do is a big live-action summer, July 4th, 2007, live-action Transformers film. Using the Transformers mythology, using the characters, using the stuff that we all love and grew up on, but it's not robot, battle, buildings fall. It's more about what would really happen if all of a sudden the ongoing war between the Autobots and Decepticons were around us. And I know everyone here has probably seen the Citroën commercial and those other kind of things that have been on the web. And that's very much inspiring the look of the film. What happens if your car really could transform? It's going to be a lot less cartoony because it's not a cartoon. It's going to be a lot more, hopefully it's going to be a lot more wonder and awe as if you're actually watching this happen before you. So I thought I should say that, and now Mr. No Mercy is going to ask me a lot of questions.
I promise I won't ask a lot. I'll just ask one big one.
Yes.
Essentially, you just discussed one of the. You kind of touched on a big fear. Now, I could like to ask you all the questions about the story and plot and blah blah blah, but of course you can't answer that. My fear is, now I want you to look in your mind, Godzilla, the American version of Godzilla. Mm-hmm. Everyone was all excited and hyped to go and see that film, and every single storyline that occurred in that movie in regards to the humans sucked, taking away from the monster, taking away from what was going on, and totally ruining that character as far as I was concerned. That is my huge fear with the live-action Transformers, because there's a big hype right now about all the individual actors who are being approached to play the human characters, such as Michael Clark Duncan and stuff like that. Great actors, fine, but my problem is the focus might be too much on the humans and not enough on the Transformers. Totally recommend that. That's my fear.
By the way, if everyone could just give their first name so I know that I'm talking.
My name is Ian.
Ian, nice to meet you. It's my fear too. Any movie like this runs a risk factor. It's a fantasy movie, and any movie like this runs a risk of being too much on one side, too much on the other side. I couldn't agree more with you about Godzilla. It was a movie I was very much looking forward to. It's a movie that historically now is looked at as not very good, although I'm sure the studio at the time was loving the fact that they were cleaning up the box office with the damn thing. I think if we make a movie like Godzilla, we won't make. There's been no Godzilla 2 or Godzilla 3, and I want to. I get paid. I want to make Transformers 2, Transformers 3, Transformers 4. I think ultimately, if the robots, and I think my partner Tom DeSanto would agree, if the robots are not characters, if you don't feel like that's the Bumblebee you remember, and that's Optimus, the hero that you grew up with, and if we I gotta watch myself because there's kids here, but I tend to curse a lot. But if we mess it up, if we screw up the basic thing, which I'm a lot less worried about whether or not. I've read 10 drafts of the script. I know what the story is. I know the story's epic enough and exciting enough and fun enough that we'll get a really, really big box office return. What I've been doing with my message board, what I've been doing by coming here, is try to appeal to this fan base, because and find out from the fan base, where we might be going wrong.
And that's all I've been thinking of, is that fear in my head.
No,
where Hollywood's going to go is like.
No, it's my fear too, Ian, because it's about. At the end of the day, we're not setting out to do because there's just no way. I mean, it would either end up being all CG animation, or it would end up being $900 million.
I mean, you're going to be making your money off of people like me who are going to go back there 10, 15, 20, 30, 75 times.
Exactly.
So if I think it sucks on the first time,
Ian,
I ain't going back.
No, Ian, I totally agree. Which is why I'm much less concerned. I've read the script. I'm much less concerned about how the humans work. They work pretty well. It's really about making sure each of the Decepticons and the Autobots are characters, are a discernible individual thing, which is why I'm glad I'm working with Tom, because one of the things he helped the director do on the first X-Men movie was there's all these different characters, and each of them have to be characters. And sure, it's Wolverine's movie. And sure, Professor X and Magneto excel, but it's about each character. And it's a very expensive movie to do. It won't be like Superman levels, but it's going to be a very expensive movie. And it's about making sure that the design and the CG, and my big battle, because the one consensus I had from doing the boards so far now for 2 years, is that fans don't agree on anything except one thing, which is they want Cullen and Welker back.
Yes.
Yes. And
here.
And it's been a battle to convince my fellow producers, and I think they all have. It was a battle to convince DreamWorks, and I didn't know if I was getting anywhere with Michael until he did the thing on Monday in Ain't Cool News. When I was up here, I didn't know that was even coming out. I don't think anyone knew. And there he is saying, we're going to audition them, which I think, how do you audition them? I think that's his code for, I'm coming around to the idea.
But if you don't mind me asking another thing, then.
No, I don't know.
In regards to that, I am myself an actor in voice. Mm-hmm. And how in the world would I'd love to submit and try and audition myself sometime.
Well, what I would do is, it's on the website, but it's just because someone else had my name, I guess. It's Mr. Mr. Don Murphy, one word, Mr. Don Murphy at hotmail.com. Email it to me, and what I'll do is I'll pass them on to Janet Hershenson, who's going to be doing the No, just email me your CV or your contact information, and I'll pass it on to Janet Hershenson and get it to her. At the end of the day, I agree with Tom and I are looking at other movies like this for models, right? The fans all were like, organic web shooters, it's never going to work. What's going to happen? Why did they make that change? And they made that change because it was too hard to believe that besides being bitten by a spider, the kid was also a genius. And they made it work. We're not making changes to that extent in the mythology. At the end of the day, Michael Bay is trying to make it his own, of course. He's trying to make it an origin story done CG. I was on the phone yesterday with Brian Goldner of Hasbro, and he was saying that had we tried to do the CG origin story 5 years ago, the technology just wasn't even there. But I have to tell you, if we screw up, and I hope we don't, but if we screw up, it'll be because we mess up the bot characters. And if we succeed, it's because we got the bot characters right. And that's what we're focused on.
Mr. Murphy, thank you very much for answering my questions.
Thank you, Ian. Sure.
Hi, my name is Phil. I was just wondering one question. I don't know if you can tell me this, but a question that's been on my mind and a lot of Transformers fans' minds. Will Soundwave's voice be synthesized?
Will Soundwave's voice be synthesized? There is a debate now, which has happened in the last few weeks, as to whether Soundwave will make it in the first movie. So, no. It has to do...
Oh, no. Mr. Murphy, if you want this movie to do well, you will include Soundwave.
Okay.
I'll just tell you that right now.
It has to do with, to be honest, it has to do with getting Soundwave right. So there's been a debate about whether we save Soundwave for the sequel. He gets mentioned for sure in the movie. He is currently in the movie. His voice is synthesized. The question is whether I'm just warning you now. It's things I can talk about, but it's just warning you now that there's a debate. I'm actually advocating that he wait for the sequel myself, just because of what's happening in this movie. He kind of gets short shrift at the current moment, and he's such a fan icon. He's such a favorite character of mine and everybody else's. I'd rather see him be the focus of two than be Bailey in one and done wrong.